What's up, y'all? Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to Boxem Office Hours. It was good to see a bunch of guys on the free class last night. Great vibes. Looking forward to carrying that energy over into the rest of the week here. We got a bunch of opportunities to take advantage of for back to school going on right now. A bunch of FBM opportunities, especially. So if you're looking for kind of those first big items to take advantage of, it's a really good time to learn kind of that peak FBM season. That'll translate very nicely to Q4. And yeah, let us know who we got in chat today. What's up? Hunter was like an hour and a half early today. The other day he was about 5 hours early. Good vibes from Hunter for sure. Yeah, so let us know who we got in chat, and let us know what questions we can answer for you guys as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. And any videos you guys want to see us make too as well. And if you haven't yet checked out Boxem, check out one of the updated tutorials on the Boxem YouTube channel too. As well, there's been a bunch of cool updates that are going into it, and a couple things coming soon that one of which you've definitely never seen before in respect to
one of them doesn't exist in any other tool. Yeah, it is brand new, and it's it'll be very cool.
Yeah, very educational for you guys as well. Let's see. Hey, Miles, Raj here, excited to be a part. Yeah, Raj, let me know when you get that in, bro, and we'll get to it with that. Thanks for sharing. Of course, Sherry. What's up, Joseph Harmon? Yeah, so let us know what questions you guys got in the chat, and we're happy to dig in. If you want to see any ASINs checked or ASINs reviewed too, feel free to put those in the chat as well. We can pop up Seller and Keepa and take a look, see if any of those look good or not, and dig in on why specifically. So let us know what you guys want us to answer and everything in chat here. It's currently August 14th, so we got a week or so left of peak back to school season, and then in a couple months, the best time of the year kicks off between October and December, which is the fourth quarter of the year. Q4, which is when a ton of consumer spending happens. I'm actually going to ask ChatGPT real quick what percentage of U.S. consumer spending is during Q4. What percent?
Yeah, it's a lot. And yeah, a lot of those back to school opportunities right now will be stuff you can go to Walmart, run out and get, because there'll be, the 2-pack of this crayon and that kind of thing that's way overpriced, and all kinds of those kind of more limited opportunities. Absolutely. Yes. Good. A couple good questions rolling here. So how do you suggest to start sourcing when you're starting? Are you thinking books and just trying to get ungated? I mean, gating isn't really a thing to hold you back, right? Because there's lots of auto ungates, and you can always just get approved with whatever invoice you bought a profitable item with. So I wouldn't let that hold you back. If you have very little money, then books is a good place to start, but gating isn't really a good reason to not do something. As far as like where to start, we both have videos like specifically sourcing auto ungated stuff. So just look up like auto ungated sourcing on YouTube, and you'll see Miles or I ripping through a bunch of brands that you're able to sell from the get-go, and kind of how to find more brands just like that as well.
Yeah. Like exactly like Warner said. So we actually both got started selling books, but we didn't have much money when we were getting started back in the day. So yeah, don't trip up on gating or anything. Like if everyone else can do it, you can too. And we're obviously happy to help you do that as well too. On that. Thank you for your help. Of course, Naomi decided to make an LLC instead of sole proprietor, but I started as a sole proprietor like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way I did it too. I just took a little bit longer.
It's pretty quick after, yeah.
Over.
Yeah, that's good vibes. Need to get on that for sure.
Yeah, Hunter, we could hook it up with that and everything.
What's up, Naomi? Good to see you. Looking good in the headshot. I like it. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Got the LinkedIn headshot going. You love to see it.
Yeah, and that's the big thing too. So like a lot of people think you need an LLC to get started with. We're not lawyers. We don't know your personal situation, but it's not formally required to use one on that. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see, Ulysses. You're on the class last night. You saw on Keepa you're taking screenshots. I'm not sure like if you had like a specific question on that, Ulysses, but as far as like sourcing products, literally just do exactly what we were breaking down for you last night, and you'll find something. Just remember that like the first item you find is gonna feel hard to find. It's gonna take time to find, that kind of thing. You're learning an entirely new skill, right? So just have a little bit of patience with yourself. As long as you're using all of the discount methods, that's the very, very important part. And I'll drop a quick list of those discount methods in chat for you guys as well. But yeah, make sure you're just baking in all the discount methods. Otherwise, you're just kind of sourcing retail price, which is not usually profitable, right? You've probably already found that. You want to make sure you're doing everything possible to boost those margins, basically.
Yep. Yeah. And if you're under 10K a month, don't worry about Keep a Product Finder either, honestly, on that. My Walmart invoice keeps getting rejected and they told me to stop submitting. Yeah. So they actually told you to stop submitting the same thing, which doesn't mean you can't change the file up a little bit, rotate it, change the name, etc. right there. I know it's obviously a little bit tough of a concept because it sucks to get declined for something, but it's just how the system works. Most ungates are going to take about 5 to 15 denials, and a huge mistake beginners make is not really taking the time to understand that. I'm a beginner. How much investment is required to start Amazon wholesale? Yeah, so typically at least like 5 to 10K. We definitely wouldn't recommend getting started with Amazon wholesale. What makes significantly more sense is Amazon online arbitrage. Buying discount name brand products from big websites like Kohl's, Walmart, and Target, right? Which takes substantially less money to get started with, typically only like 1 to 2K.
Yep. So what's up, Pamela? First small shipment's ready. Says you have 0 in stock and Seller Central. Is that okay? Yeah, if your shipment is ready, then I assume it's like, sitting in your floor boxed up, in which case, yeah, 0 stock makes sense, right? It'll show items that are in stock once it's actually like fully received at Amazon and ready to go out, basically. So yeah, that's normal if it's not been checked in at Amazon. Because obviously there's none that people can buy right now.
Ryan says, do y'all have a private or paid group / Discord I can join? Yeah, dude. So we have the FBA Roadmap. You can feel free to go to thefbaroadmap.com for more info on that. And then we have a bunch of good free resources for you in description too, as well. But on online arbitrage, Amazon will deactivate the account. Not true whatsoever. If so, obviously the business wouldn't exist right there. Mad Moo Dog says, I started using cashback and discounted gift cards for everything. Thanks for that game. Yes. Yeah. Love to see that. So Mad Moo Dog, I believe you've been pretty consistent on the streams and consuming the content. And it's awesome that you're leveling up, and just keep letting us know what else we can help with as you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Your son turned 4 months old yesterday. At what point do you start him on Keep It Charts? A month ago, 2 months ago.
Behind. Hunter, what are you doing? You terrible father.
Come on, man. You don't have your 4-month-old in the lab reading Keep It Charts for you, sourcing inventory. The first steps are going to be from the pile of inventory to the box to load up a shipment. First word is profit or something like that.
Back. Yeah, you
raise them right.
Check if when you click it, it shows you the recording. I'm not sure if it does, but it very well might with that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so let us know what other questions you guys got there. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys been seeing a lot of you guys kind of taking things more seriously. Just want to emphasize that now is like a great time to be dialing in on this stuff, because you want to have everything kind of understood on the back to school rush so that you can really crush December. I know a lot of you guys are getting after it. You know that, but just want to emphasize how important that is. Basically, everyone that we see who like crushes their first year starts around now, maybe a month or two ago. Definitely not in the middle of November, December. You can still make money, but you're not going to like really be able to crush it if you're learning and trying to take advantage of the rush all at once.
Yep. So Ryan says, awesome. I see the group is $497. Is that lifetime, or do you all offer one-on-one help by chance? I could use some help with more specific things. Yeah, so that's lifetime for the group. Ryan, if you do want one-on-one help, I'll put a link in chat where you can apply for my coaching program. It's also linked in the description if you're interested too. That might be something that you're looking for too. Raj says, been doing storefront stalking for a while here in Canada. Some good sellers with 5K products have their products with Amazon selling same products for a lot cheaper. Is US market facing same issue? Yeah, so good question, man. So those are wholesale sellers. So those are people that are buying at a discount, probably the same place Amazon's buying, right? Which is going to be pretty difficult for you to compete with when you're on a smaller bankroll than obviously a lot of the wholesalers are, right? That's the nice thing is that most products are either online arbitrage or wholesale. They're not both. So you just need to look at more of like a more online arbitrage sellers, so smaller brands most likely, and then you'll be competing with other OA sellers that are buying the same as you, basically.
Yeah, another thing to think about is that OA costs are generally lower than wholesale too, because we're getting it with multiple layers of discounts, coupon sales, that kind of thing. The wholesale advantage is like the restock ability, right? So it's always the same price, but it's not always the lowest price. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of like a big, that was like surprising. Something I learned when I started to do a little bit of wholesale bounce out with OA. It's gonna be a lot higher margin.
So CG says, do Instacart invoices work? Great question. Probably not. But if you're buying it for the ungate, or if you're buying it profitably, it's probably with some like big discount from Instacart, like a promotion. Just buy it from the retailer that it's coming from on Instacart. I believe it shows you who it is there, and then that you'll totally be able to use for it right there. Yeah.
Sometimes they'll like some websites they'll end up using like Instacart or Uber Eats to do like the last delivery too, which is interesting. Let's see, is Boxem meant for FBA sellers who are not using prep center? It's meant for any Amazon seller in general, right? Because it's the best analytics software. So if you need to know how much money you're making, your prep centers have been loving switching to Boxem. It's faster for them than any other software, and we've talked to lots of prep centers, and they're all loving it so far. So if your prep center is not using it yet, you can show them, and they'll be happy to switch over because it saves them a lot more time than anything else.
So good question here from Kelly. Says, love the Boxem analytics feature. Can you explain the profit per shipment? What's calculated in that number? So it's all the profit, fees, unit count, etc. for that shipment. So it's all the products that are in that specific shipment, what the estimated profit's going to be right there. So Amazon fees, product cost, etc. all going to be included in that right there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good to toss that on socials too. You can flex the shipments you got going out and that kind of thing. I'll just pop this up on the screen share if you guys want to see what we're talking about here. Yeah, so you can see like very simple little new addition, but kind of shows you how much you're expected to make based on the shipment you just made, basically. So take a little screenshot of that and toss it on socials.
Yep. It's still taking me a long time to figure out profitable products. Should I buy profitable products and then get ungated, or should I apply first? So you can't apply without having purchased them if it's a gated brand that's requiring documentation, right? So Pamela, when you're doing sourcing, you always want to check if a brand is auto ungated by going to add product on Seller Central, then hitting request approval and apply to sell, right? And then if it asks for documents, it's gated, then you just need to get ungated. And if it lets you list it immediately, then it is an auto ungate product and you're good to go and you don't need documents right there, right? So that's basically the thought process. If it's a gated brand, you can't get ungated without documents. You want to go ahead and put those in. And otherwise you're good to go with that. Okay, that person's gonna look nothing like me. But let's see here.
Let's see. Mike says business info privately set up a Boxem account. So I mean, everyone has publicly visible information. So obviously that's still gonna be public, but yeah, it doesn't make any private information not private.
Yeah, like nothing set like yeah, I mean I'll share our privacy policy too as well, but yeah, nothing like we don't share anything.
Yeah, any company that has data is responsible for protecting it, basically.
Yeah, and we have the privacy policy for a reason right there, Mike, on that. So feel free to take a look at that. Interesting. That question's never actually come up. How come you don't get okay, LOLs Pro? Remember Warner's rule for you where
we were on one every 3 messages you're thinking about. It might be one every 4 or something like that.
Yeah. A little low.
Absolutely. We'll see. What's up, VSCG? Wholesalers pay more per unit generally. How is that an advantage? It's not. The advantage in wholesale is pure scale of numbers. Right? If a wholesaler wants to buy 1,000 of something, they send an email and buy 1,000 of it, right? But it's going to be generally at a higher price than online arbitrage people are paying because they're not getting all the extra layers of discount. And you got to remember, most retailers, their margin is, like after everything's said and done, like Walmart makes like 3 to 4%, right? So you have to think about how close that is to wholesale pricing. And then if you have a sale or coupon and that kind of thing, like you are much lower than wholesale pricing. Just like if you ever start getting wholesale price sheets, compare that to what you're seeing at your favorite websites. It's going to be lower on your favorite websites with the right kind of like discounts and that kind of thing.
Yeah, very, very rarely is an item profitable both online arbitrage and wholesale, to be honest. So kind of just group them in like two different like sectors of product essentially. Right there. Okay, LOL's Pro is now spamming. Let's see.
Yeah, Ulysses SellerAmp is faster, easier to use, better. And that other software kind of just copies the features that SellerAmp has created about a year ago. So you're just always ahead of the curve with SellerAmp, basically. All right, that's
All right. Oh, poor LOLs Pro. That's
it's a timeout. It's a timeout. It's not a ban.
Oh, okay,
Not a
good,
ban.
good. All right,
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't be spamming, brother.
Yeah, come on, LOLs Pro, man. Yeah, sweet. All right, cool. Can I use 2 different invoices from Tard for a brand? Yes. Best kept secret. Yeah, especially like brands like Crayola. The items are literally 50 cents a piece, but it does technically require 200 plus units to get that done. So you can just get those done via any big retailer, and you can use multiple invoices or receipts to get those done. Right there, just remember, guys, you can't ungate with in-store receipts. In-store receipts do work for inauthentic complaints and IP complaints, etc. But for ungating, you want to use those online order confirmation emails or receipts right there.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, technically, you can use 10 invoice. You could use 100 invoices if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but it would still work for you.
Yeah. Right there. Yeah, that's the nice thing is you can actually do. So typically where that comes up, and rightfully so, right, is like Calvin Klein, where I think it's 6 per order you can do on there. Or Tommy Hilfiger, I know, is 6. And so you just got to do multiple cards to get that done. Right there. Keep the questions coming too, y'all. We love helping you guys start and grow your businesses. So however we can do to or whatever we can do to help out with that, just let us know and we're happy to do it. Vivian says, hi, Miles and Warner. Since I already have an LLC, do I need a business email through a domain name to create an Amazon seller account? Nope. Vivian, you're overthinking it. Just go through the process of getting an account set up and you'll quickly see that that's not required right there and everything. So yeah, just overthinking kind of some of the back end stuff. Just go ahead and create a seller account. It's going to show you everything you need right there. How do FBM sellers make any sales when Amazon dominates the buy box? Is there a strategy behind that? So good question, Mad Blue Dog. Typically, drop shippers, which is not allowed, or at least retail drop shipping. So anyone telling you can drop ship on Amazon is kind of lying to you. They'll just list on like a billion different listings at the same time. They have software that does it. So that's why you'll see so many like listings that look dead for third-party sellers where Amazon's on the whole buy box that technically a lot of FBM people will be on, right? And that's the reasoning behind it there. Yeah.
Yeah, and you also notice it's usually like it's like heavier items too, because like the only way you can sell them profitably is if there's no shipping cost. Like if you go to any like listing with rolls of paper towels and stuff like that, where it's very big and would cost a fair amount of money, if you're doing it legitimately, it'll be at prices that are like not possible, basically. So yeah, just you gotta avoid a lot of those. And then you'll also notice some listings that Amazon's on, you can still make sales on if there's like a ton of sales, because not every sale, there's not one buy box basically, right? So the buy box data you're looking at is kind of a combination of lots of different things. But the buy box also changes depending on where you open up the app in the country, right? Because Amazon might be out of stock at the FC in Washington, but they're not in California, for example, right? So there are a lot of like high volume items where you can compete with Amazon. Just don't expect to sell a ton.
Boom, boom, boom.
Facts, Hunter. Hunter's got good vibe. Don't let a gated brand stop you from generational wealth and retiring the bloodline. I like that.
Yes, sir. Is Crayola a good brand ungate? It is an IP alert, and most of their products are Amazon's favorite. Yeah, so IP alert doesn't mean it has a suspected IP complaint on Sonar, which what Pimel is referencing here. So whenever it says that, you don't actually like that's not a guarantee that they IP complaint. You need to take a look at the Kiva chart and see if they have any massive drops in competition right there. So yeah, so typically if it has the suspected IP, that doesn't mean that it is. You have to take a look at the Kiva charts right there. Crayola is popping right now. Yeah, totally.
Yep. A lot of those listings are the ones where prices are going like crazy, just kind of randomly right now. Thoughts on ROI versus profit? I mean, to me, like ROI is more important because your margin is just like an indicator of how healthy your business is. Your ROI is actually like, what am I getting out of spending money? Yeah. So it's a more directly controllable. And usually if it meets one standard, it's probably going to meet the other. You know what I mean? So it's not really worth debating, to be honest. But yeah, just make sure. I always look at ROI basically. A lot of times I don't even have profit margin turned on my seller amp.
Just make sure it's Crayola. Yeah, good question here a good point there from Jose. Yeah, there's a lot of misbranded products or like generic.
Yeah, very true.
You always want to make sure you stay away from those. So you want to make sure that seller amp, but even more important than seller amp is the big one to make sure is Amazon. So just make sure under the title where it says brand and then XYZ, make sure that matches the actual brand, the specific item right there. Thoughts on buying from sketchy source where it looks legit, but you can't prove it? Yeah, so you can actually prove it via Trustpilot, the Google reviews, verifying that a site has the brick and mortar location, and checking out through PayPal right there. Yeah. Is flipping books? Oh, I think Warner froze. Let's see. Did I freeze here? Flipping books still? Let's see. I'm going to refresh real quick.
Oh,
that was my bad. So I froze. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure who froze, but we're we're back. Sweet. Okay. I think it might have been me. Something was not loading for me, and now it is.
Let's see.
I'm frozen. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's what I figured. Sounds good. Yeah, so real quick, I want to just emphasize, Miles was talking about making sure, especially on like Crayola and that kind of thing, make sure the brand is always correct. Just always check this on SellerAmp and make sure that actually matches what's in the title, basically. I know there's a bunch of Crayola ones. I was trying to find one like as a quick example, but if this says anything else, or sometimes this can even say like the parent company, and that's fine too, as long as this company is actually linked to who owns this brand, basically. That's what you got to look out for.
Good question here. So Caleb says, any tips on how to scale? Yeah, man. So it's just more and better of what you're already doing, right? So there's only two ways to grow your catalog. It's either go deeper on products you're already selling, right? Or find more similar and just adjacent leads, right? And the answer is in both of those, right? So if you have products that are selling really well, buy more of them, right? And storefront stock the sellers you can see doing really well from there and find more leads from there too.
Yeah, and usually the bottleneck's either going to be money or time, right? So money is a little harder to solve because every business wants more money. You can take an Amazon loan and that kind of thing. If it's time, that is easier to solve though, because if you got plenty of money and not as much time, you just got to figure out, how can I get a prep center? How can I, teach a friend to do some stuff for me part time? How can I hire a virtual assistant full time? Right? Like a lot of those different. It doesn't just have to be so simple as like, oh, I have to hire a full time employee. Just figure out like little ways as you're getting, bigger and bigger to do one less task. Right? It doesn't have to be as intense as like bringing on full time help.
So Madmood says, still sitting on 300 units of Krell, still can't get ungated. Yeah, so it's not that you can't, it's just that you haven't, right? Because if it was impossible, there'd be no sellers on the listings, right? So Bonnie says,
just keep it rolling.
Yeah, and once again, it obviously sounds like a lazy answer from us, but just because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, that's literally what we're sitting here submitting. Exactly. Yeah, as long as you know you bought the right thing, you just got to get it to an Amazon rep that wants to do their job, basically.
Yeah, we could buy 10 units and try to ungate. Yeah, you don't try to ungate, you just ungate them. When to get a business CC. So that's really up to you and your own risk tolerance. Some people should never do it, right? But leverage, obviously, if you're a great seller, it'll make you a better seller. And if you're a poor seller, it'll make you a worse seller, right? Because it just kind of emphasizes what you're already doing. So you just kind of got to audit your own risk tolerance around that and ideally start small.
Did you answer this while I was majorly glitching out? This is a good question. Yeah. How do you optimize a listing as a beginner? A few things on your store that haven't sold yet. It's got a good BSR and ROI. Yeah. So it sounds like
don't need to optimize.
Currently being sold FBM. So if you're the FBM seller and you're competing with FBA sellers, that could be why you're not getting sales. All else equal, there's typically going to be more sales that go to FBA sellers. But as far as like optimizing the listing, that kind of thing, you don't need to worry about that, especially since it's a listing that already sells. Like the customers are there. You just need to figure out why you're not in the buy box, right? So is your FBA inventory on back order? Are you FBM competing with FBA sellers? Is your price been a little bit too high compared to everybody else, right? So just go through. Like if you just look up like buy box factors on Google, you'll see there's a bunch of like little charts and that kind of thing that shows you what goes into it. Just make sure that you're doing as much of that as possible, like to the T. Mostly it's going to be shipping speed and price though.
Yeah, some people that are beginners won't even realize that their account's inactive. So what you want to do immediately once you get your first listing up is go to one of the listings as if you were one of the customers and make sure your name shows on the list of sellers.
Yeah. Plus, it's always fun to see your store on an Amazon page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when you're new to the game, yeah. Do you have to do any
Nope.
promoting? Nope. Yeah.
You're
That's
right.
why. So like you said, you bought a product with a good BSR. That's the whole point of buying things that already sell, is you don't need to do any marketing, right? The entire game is, how do I buy items that already sell cheap enough to make a profit, right? That's literally the only problem you need to solve. Let's see. Sell anything that lets you apply, Pamela. Yeah, anything that lets you apply. Luckily, there's like thousands of good brands that'll let you apply. When you're applying, do you reapply to the case when declined instead of submitting a new application? That's what I usually do, Jared. If they give me like a specific reason, if they don't, and they're just saying like, don't submit again or something like that, and they obviously just didn't even pay attention, I'll make a new application, get to somebody new.
Yeah. Yeah, and on Pamila's question too on beauty and health. So it's actually not categorically; it's by brand. I know, unfortunately, they say it's categorically, but it is actually by brand. Right there. So yeah, we'll be on for a couple more minutes, guys. So let us know whatever questions you got, and we're happy to take a look for you and help you out here.
Yep. Yeah, just keep plugging in some other brands and that kind of thing, Pamela. And there's lots of auto on gates. When you're brand new, auto on gates is the way to go, just because it's removes a whole barrier potentially, right?
Oh yeah, right there for sure. Right, so it's August 14th, so we got a week or so left of pre-back to school, and then we get into Labor Day sourcing in late August for a week or so, right? Probably a couple of days, probably like 3-4 days. And then we have a month off or so of big time until October Prime Day, and then we pretty much just hop into like Q4 for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. It's about to get I mean, it's already very fun with back to school, but it only gets more fun from here on out. I'm always excited to see the new guys and gals that crush Q4. It all starts now. Is there a way to see all the brands you're auto ungated? No, Amazon doesn't let you like automatically check that kind of stuff, unfortunately. But honestly, like when you're looking through storefronts, you're kind of seeing a lot of the same brands over and over again. So you just kind of build that mental inventory. Plus, the only thing you really need to worry about is things that aren't letting you apply. Anything else you can sell. If it lets you apply or it's auto, just consider it ungated.
Would you still sell a product if seller amp is showing IP complaints, but you see a lot of sellers in listing? Is it safe to sell? Most likely, yes, but you just need to check the Kiva chart and see if there's any like big rapid drops off in competition. If there are, then you want to avoid that there. Yeah.
Yeah. That the IP will show if like one listing a year ago IP complained, for example, and that brand has 1,000 listings, it'll still show you that, just as a warning that brand has IP complained on something in the past, right? So just look and see like how many third-party sellers are having success, basically. How long does it take for a new beginner to make their first sale? I mean, usually the day it checks in, maybe the day after, that kind of thing, when it's like fully available for sale at FBA. If you're FBM, it might be a little bit slower if you're competing with FBA like we're talking about, but yeah, it's usually pretty quick.
Yeah. Fire question from Brian. Brian says, do you guys traditionally scale back a little in September in preparation for Q4? Kind of depends on your situation, I suppose, but just serious. Yes, it's not really, or it's kind of like a natural thing just based on opportunity in the market. Like if you're seeing boatloads of opportunity, keep your foot on the gas, but just based on like industry-wide opportunity, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, you're usually completely out of money, like within, right now or a week from now, that kind of thing. So it naturally makes the few weeks after that a little bit harder to spend money you don't have. After a test order, how many units to buy? Should you ever stock more than a month worth? This is a good question. Yeah. So usually I like to stock 30 days and then just like as a baseline, and then I move that number up and down depending on risk factors, how likely or how long is it until I'm going to be able to restock that again, right? Because a lot of your best products, you'll know like, hey, this product is only good when this combination of coupon, maybe a buy one, get one sale, something like that is on. So if you know that sale's only around every 3 months and it stays profitable, then I'll buy 3 months, right? On the flip side, if it's, I don't know, let's say it's flip-flops in a couple weeks where it's almost the end of summer, right? Then I might buy a little bit less than normal because there's kind of outside factors that might make that test order that happened now a lot faster sales than it will in 2 or 3 weeks when weather starts getting colder, that kind of thing. So just figure out like what outside factors are affecting that and figure out to adjust up or down based on that 30-day starting point.
So Pamela says, I just don't know how and where to start for back to school. Yeah, so the great thing is you never source for back to school. You never source for Q4. Just find stuff that's profitable today. But if my goal were to source for back to school, which I don't think you should, I would just storefront stock off the Crayola listings you're already looking at, because those are obviously back to school items, and the sellers on those items are going to have other items in those brands that'll make sense for them too, as well.
Yeah. So for example, anytime you want to storefront stock, if you're trying to get something new, I always just use a popular brand within that niche and then pack of, because that's usually going to take you to bundles and listings that aren't so dominated by Amazon is a perfect example. Like you're going to have a hard time making profit on this, buying it for 61 cents, but here's 92 other Amazon sellers that are serious about back to school opportunities, right? So let's see. I like going to people, there's 7 feedback, and then immediately this person's going to be carrying other back to school brands. Let me see. They got some backpacks. They got some glue, that kind of thing, right? So it's showing you like other back to school opportunities if you want to stay within like a certain niche. Because usually when I'm sourcing, I'll just end up on a rabbit trail of storefront stocking. If you want to look in a particular niche, just go back to the same listing that kind of inspired you to go like into the back to school niche, basically, right? So it's showing you a couple different opportunities.
Boom. So selling FBM listings for a week, but no sales yet. Yeah, check if those listings actually have other FBM people getting buy box, and make sure to go to a listing and see if your name shows as one of the sellers on the listing. That's very, very important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Here, I can just show you something on this as well. That's probably the reason why it's not selling. So if you go to SellerAmp and you look at the buy box statistics down here, see if any of the recent, so filter by last one, and then see if any of the recent sales say FBM. Like this one does right here. So this is obviously an FBM friendly listing. I bet the product you have, this is all going to say FBA. And as soon as you send it into FBA, it'll start selling.
Yeah. Spot on.
Good question though. Yeah. And then a good place to wrap it up here with Jared. Yeah. So we're live every Monday at 5 and Tuesday and Thursdays at 4 Eastern. So, set it on the calendar. You can also, it sounds very YouTuber-y, but click the bell button below us and you'll get like a push notification when we're live on YouTube if you want to make sure you're on, if you want to come ask some questions and that kind of stuff. But yeah, super good energy today. It's a good spot to wrap it up. And yeah, let's crush the rest of the week here, guys.
Have a great day. Appreciate the good work. Good energy today. See y'all later.